Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report on the Buffalo FAMbase Network. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP, from the 313. And by my side is my main man, my Toucan Sam, the one they call the Apex Man, Mr. Mikey. What's going on, brother? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Rested up. Did a little bit of work. I got prepared for a presentation this morning. Nailed it. Got another one tomorrow morning, and then hopefully things will smooth out a little bit for me. So other than that, I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good, brother. I went to the Snoop Dogg concert in Detroit. Got to see Snoop D-O-double-G and Too Short and Wiz Khalifa. Had a good time, man. That was fun, man. I was up till 2 a.m. though, but I got some, and then I had to be up at 8 actually. So I'm on limited sleep, but that's okay. Anyways, man, but yeah, so woke up this morning and to some bad news. Mikey, right. Nyheim Hines got hit on a jet ski and crushed his knee and is out for this season. Your thoughts, Mikey, on hearing this news in the morning?
First, thankful that it's not life threatening, because those water vehicles can be life threatening when something bad happens. Sounds like it's bad luck for the guy. He was sitting there chilling and someone crashed into him. You know, what was he doing on a jet ski right before training camp?
Right.
You know, I mean, right. Okay.
Yeah. And we were talking a little bit about this before we went live just now. So just a heads up in case you guys don't know. And by the way, I mentioned it too on NY Up went live when it happened today.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I did mention it to them too, and they were talking a little bit about it. But Bills players on this team are not allowed to be on jet skis. That's one of the things they're not allowed to be doing. It could void their contract. It's going to be interesting to see what the Bills do with this now. You were mentioning before that they could do a restructure. Explain that.
Yeah. So Greg Tomsat put out a tweet this morning over at Cover One, kind of outlining the things that they can do. There's 3 different options, and I don't know. I can't remember exactly what each one is word for word, but ultimately they can do one where they can just release them and eat the bonus money as paid and save some money. They can leave him be on the roster and pay his salary, or they can work with them and restructure his contract down to like the veteran minimum, where we save some and he can still use our facilities. He'll get like the veteran minimum. So we'll save some money, but not what we could if we were to release him. But I don't know. Knowing the Bills, they'll probably do option 3. They'll work with him, so he still has access to the facility. You know, he's a guy that they like in the room, could come back next year.
Right.
You know, I can't see them just releasing him outright.
Yeah, it just once again though, just got to be smarter than that, guys. Man, I mean, you know that your career is on the line, and I'm not, and that sucks. It does suck. I know, like, you want to have fun jet ski like everybody else is doing and stuff, but you also got to take in consideration, your contract, the dangers, the risk, and you're out there anyways. And it wasn't even his fault, but it's still in his contract. And unfortunately for him, that stuff happened. It's weird. Like when you're doing something you're not supposed to do, like bad things can happen sometimes. And unfortunately for him, like a bad thing happened. It wasn't even his fault, but
I mean, he was being a human. He went out to
I get that.
Like we were talking, like I had Sea-Doos when I was younger, and I went out and I played on them and I threw myself around and got dinged up and stuff playing on those things. Bad timing though, right before training camp.
Well, you're also not a football player.
Yeah,
it's not in your contract. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I get where you're coming from, and I get it. Like it sucks. You know what I mean? Like, but if I was getting paid a lot, whatever, a job, and they're like, hey, and they're like, dude, you can't go get a motorcycle. And I went and bought one, and I'm chilling, and somebody hits me. And I'm like, well, I was just chilling on the bike. I wasn't they were driving it. They're like, all right, dude. You know what I mean? It's in your contract. You know the deal. So who did we pick up today, Mikey? Because I did see
there was 3 running backs that worked out. Drayton Evans is the one that all the reports said looked the best. I don't know if we've signed him yet.
Okay.
But he was the one that I guess looked the best. There was two guys from the USFL or the XFL.
I did see that. Yeah. One of them looks okay. I forget his name. Saw some highlights.
It's like Kalen Hill or something like that.
Yeah, he looked okay.
Yeah.
Once again, nothing that blew me away or anything,
But Evans kind of fits more of the Nyheim Hines type anyways, because he has the special teams ability for the return ability. And he's a faster, has, good hands. Okay. He's not Hines. Let's not get that twisted right away. Nyheim Hines is a special playmaker. But we'll see what this comes out. It happened the same day that Dalvin went on Rich Eisen.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that, man, playing with my little brother might be kind of fun.
Right. But I also wouldn't want to step on his toes.
Yeah.
So at the same time. So kind of, listen, one, they ain't going to do it. One, because he wants a lot of money. It's just not going to happen. Kareem Hunt is interesting still to me, but I don't think it's going to happen either. I think the Bills right now are kind of strapped cash. And depending on what they do, though, with the Hines situation, though, they may have a little wiggle room. That might be interesting. But would they use that for a running back, or they use it for a different position? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will say the running back room right now, it was initially the wide receiver room for me. That was my biggest question mark. I think right now the running back room is maybe the scariest, the most thinnest, because if one guy, let's say Harris, who has an injury history, goes down in camp or goes down in preseason, whatever. Right? Now we're talking James Cook, second year, right? We're talking Murray, who's getting up there in age, and we're talking a bunch of guys from USF, XFL, whoever we wind up picking up. This guy former third round who also had injury history. That's a problem, and it's concerning. It is, because once again, I hate going into a season with like worrying about the depth at a position. You get what I'm saying? And we were cool up until that till now. I'm happy with the depth. I think we have very good depth, but the running back depth, that's shaky for me right now, bro.
The receiver depth is the same way. The running back and the receiver depth is very shaky. Outside of our top 5 receivers, it's a bunch of.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm saying receivers is up there too. I think the running back position might have took a little step higher in my concern department because of Hines' injury. Though I didn't think Hines would play a huge role in running the ball, but I thought he still would be a part of the offense. With Ken Dorsey maybe mixing it in finally with him. But that's not going to happen anymore.
No.
Adam says Damian Harris is going to ball, bro. Hey, listen, I hope so. If we can get the Damian Harris of 2021, 15 touchdowns, and I don't even care. Give me 10. It would be remarkable, right?
That's 10 that Josh doesn't have to put on.
That's right. That's right. But he has to stay healthy. You know what I mean? And I will say this, maybe if he isn't the RB1 and Cook's getting a little bit more of the carries, maybe that limits his running, right? And maybe he does stay healthier for the season. Maybe the workload is what I'm saying is not so much on Harris where, he could get injured is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? We'll see. But it's a 1-year deal for a reason. Because if they had a whole bunch of confidence in him, it'd be more than a 1-year deal, in my opinion. Just throwing that out there.
Ooh, Mad Chatter comes in and says, I heard the Bills were looking to trade Nyheim Hines and new guy, and Harris might not make it. Who's going to be your running backs? If you're looking to get rid of Hines and Harris, you just going to go with Cook and Murray?
Yeah, that's a really big risky gamble. Ooh. Unless they're out there trying to get a Cook, unless they feel like they could get Cook for some reason. But other than that, you don't do that. That would be a bad decision.
Running backs go down very easily. I would have more than 2 on my roster.
No, you have to, Mikey. That's what I'm saying.
Well, and Murray, more than 2 productive, because you can fill in guys, that are practice squad guys, things like that. But I want 2 productive guys. Like having Harris, Murray, and Cook still gives me the not so comfortable feelings. Having Hines, Cook, Murray, and Harris, I felt a lot better about it because Hines could be an RB. You can put him back there and you can run the ball.
Yeah, I agree. Matt Chatter, Cook, and Murray will be runners here. We'll see. Listen, I like Murray. I do. I think Murray's production the last few years has been pretty good. Like I read somewhere something about his touchdowns. I wish I could pull it up again, Mikey, but he's up there in touchdowns with running backs in the last 3 years or something like that, total touchdowns. He's not bad. It's just he's getting up there in age as well. So it's like, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting battle between him and Harris in training camp and preseason. I heard about McKissick too, but I don't think so, man. And I'm not interested after all that crap that went on. To be honest with you, it's and I don't think Bean would be interested in McKissick either after all that. I'm just throwing that out there.
All right. So you said touchdowns?
Yeah, I read somewhere, and I wish I could pull it up. Hold on. I saw it on, and I had it. Hold on. I had it in. Let's see here. Yeah, it was total. It was total touch. I wish I had that saved, man. I had it, and I don't know where I got rid of it. I had it at one point. Oh, well. How do you spell his first name?
Latavius.
Because I could pull it up now. Hold on.
Yeah,
I'll pull it up right now. Okay. So go ahead and talk to our awesome room here while I'm looking this up.
I heard they called Green Bay about A.J. Dillon. Listen, every time something gets out and I hear about it, I don't believe it. It never happens. When it happens is when you don't hear about it. Like Von Miller, you didn't hear about, and then all of a sudden he signed.
Oh, here it is. I got it. So I'm going to share it real quick. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
No, it's all good.
All right. So right here, let me share the screen here with you. All right. So see if you can see that. Can you see that, or you want me to blow that up a little bit?
No, it's fine. I can see it.
Okay.
So he's number 2 in active players with 55 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean that's
only Derrick Henry has more.
Right. That's not bad. Like, you know what I mean?
Crazy. Josh Allen's on that list.
I know.
With a bunch of running backs.
Right. So I just wanted to point that out. So he's actually done pretty well throughout his career, and then lately, the last 2 or 3 seasons, and he's been relatively healthy, right, later on in his career. So it's going to be an interesting battle. It for sure will be, but I would still, man, I wish they would get a Hunt, or Cook's not going to happen. But either one of those guys I would love, but it's just not going to happen. It's just me speaking out loud. It's just, man. But anyways.
I'm looking at the Mad Chatter. It says, Eagles had the easiest schedules and Bills very easy. Not so this year. The Bills didn't have an easy schedule last year. Did you look at the Bills schedule last year?
What is he saying? Eagles and Bills very easy.
Schedule.
Nah, bro. We didn't have an easy schedule. So now, mind you, you can't go on their records so here it is. So we play the Super Bowl champions to open up in LA, right? They were healthy,
yeah.
With a healthy
game they were
exactly. And we blew them out the water. Then we played Tennessee, who won the AFC the year before, was the number 1 rank going into the playoffs, and we beat them. And then we had Miami in Miami week 3. Yep. I mean, which is a tough game. They improved. We had I gotta go back. I wish I can go. Let me go back while
so who else do we have? We had Pittsburgh, but that was
always
Cody Pickett's first. Though. And then we had Pickett, the Chiefs. We had Green Bay. I mean, it was not an easy schedule at all last year.
No. So we
let's see here. Top 10 of the hardest schedules last year.
Yeah, so we played. Let me tell you right now. So we had. Okay, let me get to it. Okay, so Rams, Tennessee, Miami, at Baltimore. Forgetting Baltimore. Home against Pittsburgh, at KC.
Matter of fact, that was Baltimore with Lamar Jackson.
Right, exactly. Early on, by the way, that's week 4. Right after the Dolphins game, at Miami, at Baltimore, home against Pittsburgh, fine. We'll say that's rookie quarterback. We should have won that game. Fine, we did. At KC, tough as hell. Home against Green Bay, fine. You know what I mean? We should have won that. At New York Jets, New Jersey Jets, sorry. Wow. Tough game. Y'all know their improvement. Home against Minnesota, who last year Minnesota was doing the weird miracle ending games, getting lucky and playing tough, and they beat us. Tough game. Cleveland Browns, who wasn't a pushover. Yeah. Detroit Lions, and we played Detroit when they were on fire at Detroit. At New England, which is they always play tough no matter what. Home against New Jersey Jets. Home against Miami Dolphins, once again a tough team. At Chicago, fine, easy peasy, and then to finish it out against New England. At home. So, I mean,
it wasn't an easy one at all.
No, none of the, there's a few of those. The Chicago, the Green Bay game, fine. But the rest, I mean, maybe the Pittsburgh game to throw out there, the rest were not pushovers.
Pittsburgh wasn't a pushover.
No, I didn't say they're a pushover. I'm just saying maybe you can say the Bills should have won. They can win that game. You know what I mean? Going in that game, they should win that game. I'm not saying a pushover because no matter what, when you got Tomlin as a coach, just like New England, as long as you have Belichick as their coach, they're always going to be a chance in it, right? Yeah. And same with Pittsburgh. As long as you got Tomlin as your head coach there, they will always fight. They will always give you a tough battle, right? Very rarely do they get blown out the water, right? So, yeah, man. No, I think we had 3 games that were for sure, in my opinion, and the rest were not for sure. I mean, we went 13-3, by the way. That's not like a pushover schedule. Now, this year, not an easy schedule again, Mikey. So,
yeah. Looking at Adam's comment, he comes in and says Hines was the most expensive back we had. If we get significant cap relief, which we won't get significant cap relief because half of his cap number was for the restructure, and we paid him as a bonus. So even if we go back and we restructure him down to the veteran minimum, we're only going to get back $1.52 million.
Yeah,
so it's not like we're going to be able to go out and get some awesome guy, but it will help. Right. Push us through. So,
right.
All right. So, Tommy, the Raiders signed.
Oh, dude, I forgot about the Bengals game that didn't happen. It's the only reason it wasn't there. But that would have been another tough game. All right, go ahead.
The Raiders signed 3-time Pro Bowler Marcus Peters today.
Yep. It was a good signing.
I've noticed more and more stuff happening. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson blew up his knee, got carted off the field today. The safety, who's I think now in Detroit.
Damn, early injury for them, huh?
Kadarius Toney
rough.
Blew up his knee today. They think he'll be back by week 1.
Okay, well, okay, hey.
But he's going to miss all of training camp and all of
that's rough. So he'll be rusty. Yep.
So I mean, a lot of early injuries going on.
Yeah, let's knock on wood, guys. Let's knock on wood because we know about injuries last year, and we already started with one, and it's not even camp. They're not even in camp. So
Yeah,
let's pray to God that our players can stay healthy and ready to
Bob,
go
you're
week
right.
one.
Chris Jones holding out, and it's a massive gap. Did you hear about that Chris Jones situation?
No. Talk to me.
Chris Jones wants like $30 million a year. Or something like that. He says he wants to be the second highest paid defensive lineman, and the Chiefs are saying no. So there's like he didn't report.
So he's going to hold out. Wow.
He's losing like 50K a day or something like that by holding out because he's in the last year of his deal.
Right. Wow.
I'll be interested to see how that plays out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Josh Jacobs. Yeah, Josh Jacobs is on a franchise tag though, and he hasn't signed it, so he's not losing money. Chris Jones is actually losing money by not showing up.
Yeah.
You know, Saquon Barkley's the same way. The whole running back thing. You heard about that whole running back thing, right? To where Austin Eckler held a league-wide meeting for running backs.
Right.
You know, they're trying to find a way to get paid.
Mm-hmm. I get maybe why Towns can't. You never know. I never know how a game's going to play out if another quarterback's in play. I can't really say that, but I get where you're coming from. But you never know how a game. Like we would have game planned differently as well. You know what I mean? Versus a different type of quarterback. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I don't disagree with him here because
that's what I'm saying. I don't totally disagree. I'm just saying you still don't know. I can't tell you how a game would play because we played against good quarterbacks too, and we won games. So it's not necessarily
that.
But we didn't play the best. No, we
actually played like garbage in the first half. Josh Allen just bailed us out with
just airing it.
98 yard. Just airing the ball. See, and that was part of my issue is after that game he fell in love with that deep ball.
Oh, dude, they both did.
Yeah,
they both did. Dorsey and Allen calling those. Yep.
Yeah, Scott, but they're not talking about it. Diggs is more fun to talk about.
I think that's over though. It was, but it was that topic was a hot topic though, and not defense of the media, but there was really nothing going on at that time. Now there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Also, Sean McDermott didn't help himself. He stepped.
No, absolutely did not. Yeah. I know that we know how that all went.
Sean McDermott actually made that situation a whole lot worse than it had to be.
Yeah, because he could have smoothed it over, But it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is.
If he would have said in day two what he said, if he would have said day one what he said day two, it wouldn't have been an issue.
No, I agree. I agree.
But yeah, all right. So tonight's main thing is the position battles for trench warfare defense. We went through the trench warfare on our Friday show for the offensive line. So we'll go through tackles, edges, and linebackers today.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and start with our DNs, the premium position.
Yeah.
We'll start right on top. We got Von Miller, who played in 11 games, had 8 sacks, 21 tackles, 1 forced fumbles, 12 quarterback hits, and 45 pressures. Was on pace to have a amazing season for us until an awkward roll up ended his season.
I know, man. I watched that game, by the way, on NFL Network. I think it was like 2 days ago. It was on there, and I was like, I'm like, it was such a. They didn't even realize it at first. Like, Von Miller. I'm like, oh god, dang, man.
Everyone thought it was just a sprain.
I know, man. It's like, what could everything was going wrong.
It was.
Could not get out of it. We had this like curse on us last year. I swear to God, we were cursed, man. Everything. So yeah, it was wild.
So when you look at the snaps, he had 450 snaps. Greg Rousseau also only had 463 snaps. He had 37 tackles, 8 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 14 hits, 42 quarterback pressures. He also had a really good year. He also missed a lot of time. And we forget that he missed a lot of time with a high ankle sprain. He missed multiple games and just wasn't the same after he came back. But it's the reason why we went and signed this next guy, Leonard Floyd.
That's right.
In 2022, Leonard Floyd had 932 snaps, which he will not come close to getting this year. And in the Bills defense, you don't get that many snaps. He had 59 tackles, 9 sacks, no forced fumbles, 22 QB hits, and 54 pressures. So on a good, roll, I think he can get anywhere from 6 to 10 sacks, and he'll have a really solid season with the way we rotate our guys.
Yeah.
AJ Epinesa had 374 snaps. He had 16 tackles, 6.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 10 QB hits, and 26 pressures. Epinesa was probably his best year. Wasn't
Definitely,
consistent.
yeah. It was a step up, but it wasn't a huge step up. I think he took a step forward in his progress, but I don't think it was a giant leap. How about that? Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Like I wasn't like overly impressed, but it was good to see. Is that I guess that's fair to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was progress. He looked like a rotational pro D end last year for the first time. Rather than just a prospect. It'll be interesting to see what he does in year 4. Then Shaq Lawson had 467 snaps. He had 31 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 9 QB hits, and 20 pressures.
Right.
He's not a huge pass rusher. He's a better run defender. He's just a solid all around rotational D end.
Yep.
You know what you get from Shaq when he steps on the field. You 100%. Get hustle and brings that nasty that we don't have with some of the other guys.
100%.
And then Boogie Basham, he had 389 snaps. He had 19 tackles, 2 sacks, no forced fumbles, 5 QB hits, and 18 pressures. Boogie needs to make that AJ step if he even makes this roster.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I don't think he is, man. I'm gonna be honest with you at this point. He'd unless listen, I don't count anyone out. Like I don't know what this guy has done in the offseason, what kind of work he's put in, right?
Mm-hmm.
How prepared he is, ready for training camp. This dude could be, putting the work in, and he may outshine Shaq Lawson or AJ Epinesa. You never know. So I'm not going to count him out, but I have been very underwhelmed by Boogie Basham since he's been drafted here. I think he is definitely on the bubble, and I would hope that they could get something for him rather than cutting him, because he is a second-round pick. But yeah, on that. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, you're not done with the list. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to hit something in the comments.
Go ahead. What am I missing?
Matter said, honestly, I'd rest Vaughn until week 10.
Oh, he was joking.
Kidding. Yeah, but I'm with Beth on this. I would say leave him sitting until week 6, then slowly bring him back.
I'm totally on board. I'm totally on board with that.
We don't need regular season Vaughn. We need playoff Vaughn.
Exactly. We need. I agree with the playoff Vaughn, but we need down the stretch Vaughn into the playoffs Vaughn. How about that?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's where it counts, right?
Yeah,
down the stretch. Right.
Having Leonard Floyd and Rousseau gives you that, and then Lawson, who's just solid, and then either Epinesa or Basham, pick your choice, which one you want to keep, gives you that flexibility to bring him along slower. Because I don't want to see Vaughn come in week 2, week 3, week 4, and then get hurt in week 10 again.
Yeah, dude. Listen, I love his positivity and everything that he ever talks about, including free agents that never happen. But I love it. I do. I really do. I love his optimism. But listen, I want this dude to come back 100. I want this dude to slowly come. Like, there's no need to rush him now. We're gonna be fine. These guys can hold down the fort, I believe. And I think you'll see him week 5, 6. That sounds about right for me. I think you get him in there week 1, week 2. It's gonna be a mistake, in my opinion. I don't. Now, listen, I'm not. Once again, though, if that's what Vaughn wants to do. I can't tell a player what to do or a coach, but I just, in my opinion, I feel his age as well. I think in its second ACL, I would take it a little bit more cautious. How about that? You know what I mean? I got to factor that in. And exactly.
Almost like the Trey White program last year.
100%.
Hold them an extra week or two just to be safe.
And I think they did the Trey White thing longer, Mikey, because I think he was probably ready to go earlier, maybe. But I think because the mental side of it, I think they did that on purpose because I don't think he mentally was right to go back in. You know what I mean? Because I think
he had never been injured before, ever.
Right. And it was like, I think it was kind of messing with him a little bit. You know what I mean? Even though it seemed like his rehab was going well, I don't think, I think the way he was talking, I think the Bills, like, they wanted to make sure he was at least mentally prepared. And I still don't think he was mentally right. And, right away, he started to get a little bit there. You could see a little progression, but he never was close to being back. I think this year is what you're going to see. The fun Trey, the Trey that's almost his old self, let's say. That's the Trey you'll see this coming up season.
Bash comes in and says, Floyd, Miller, Rousseau. Are you kidding me? Who's not getting sacked? Actually, when you think about it, go to this NASCAR package, go Floyd and Miller on the outside, throw Oliver and Rousseau in the middle, then drop then drop in Taylor Rapp to go with Milano.
Yeah.
Talk about a NASCAR package for a pass defense.
Dude, I would,
fun.
They will. They should. If McDermott wants that aggressive style defense, you put your best out there on the field, especially getting to the quarterback, causing havoc, quarterback pressure. That forces the quarterback to do so many bad decisions or throw the ball away. We've seen it. We know it. I mean, look at the Chiefs game last year, right? When you put pressure on Mahomes at the end, which was Vaughn, I believe, and then Matt's coming around the corner, Milano, and he throws the interception to Ron because he was under pressure. You let Mahomes back there doing his thing, no pressure, you get to 13 seconds. I mean, that's what happens. You have to put pressure on these quarterbacks. You cannot just let them sit back there and pick you apart, man. And we've done that way too long under Frazier and McDermott, and now it's McDermott's turn by himself to show that we can finally put more pressure on quarterbacks to play a little bit more physical at the line as well.
Yep. And we got better cover linebackers. I love Tremaine, but he wasn't the best coverage linebacker.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Having better coverage linebackers will help too. Matt Chatter comes in and says, guys, when's the last time we were this stacked to edge? I can't remember. 90s?
Yeah, I don't remember either. I'll be honest.
The 90s probably, since we had 3 legit pass rushers.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, man, too, on this pass that everybody would talk about here. I know you haven't gotten to the bubble guys. You want to get to the bubble guys before I continue?
Yeah, I'll get to the bubble guys. Bubble guys, Shane Ray, his career snaps, he had 1,614 before he left the league. He had 94 tackles, 14 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 33 quarterback hits. Shane Ray's an interesting prospect coming into this season. What Shane Ray do you get? Do you get the, bum wrist Shane Ray, or do you get the previous Shane Ray? Is he finally healed and ready to, continue his career? Be interesting to see. Then we have Kinsley Jonathan, who was on our practice squad last year, and Cameron Klein, who was on the Colts practice squad that we picked up. So really it's our main guys, and then we have a couple, sleeper guys.
Yeah. Yep. So on Rousseau, I want to mention some of these guys that we went through. So Rousseau is the guy to watch, man. I'm going to tell you right now, young, athletic. We talked about AJ a second ago, who took a step, I guess, a baby step forward last year. You want to talk about a guy who took a giant step? Was Rousseau. He went from 4 sacks to 8. He doubled his sacks last year. He looked physically like bigger, faster, and more mature. And man, dude, if this guy's on that trajectory, he's going to get 10 plus sacks for sure, in my opinion, this season. And then you line him up next to, then you got Floyd, who's a veteran, another guy coming into that room like Vaughn, who's going to teach this guy some tricks of the trade. And Rousseau's gonna once again, pick his brain. and learn from one of the best to do it with Vaughn and Leonard Floyd. And I'm telling you guys, Rousseau is that's why Brandon Beane drafted this guy. Saw the high ceiling,
He was
raw, the high ceiling, smart. Dude is very smart. And I'm telling you, man, a beast, man. So look out for Rousseau this season. I'm excited for Floyd. That was an unbelievable pickup for Brandon Beane. Got him on a great deal. I really wonder how they worked that out, because it's a 1-year deal. If he's playing well in the season.
They have void years on his contract. That's how.
Okay. So I'm curious if they do anything with that.
What they can do is very much like the Micah Hyde, because Micah Hyde has a void year next year on his deal. So they can bring Hyde back. And since they're already paying Hyde like $3.5 million next year, they can add some more money to that, since we've already, and it just offsets the cap hit. Same thing with Leonard Floyd. We bring him back next year, whatever we decide to pay him minus whatever we already owe him, gives us the cap. Is kind of sets the cap. So
I wouldn't even mind it. I'll be honest with you, Mikey.
I wouldn't mind bringing Leonard Floyd back either. Let's see how he fits into the.
I want to see how it exactly. They'll know right away, but I agree with that.
He's one of those guys like Vaughn that just can play in any defense. Right, he's just a pass rusher. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Rousseau. I'm really excited about Rousseau because when he was drafted, he was actually a safety and tight end in high school, and then he, his freshman year he moved to edge.
Yep.
And then he played his freshman year, and then opted out his second year. Had 15.5 sacks, by the way, his freshman year.
He was second behind Chase Young.
Yeah.
By 1 sack. Yep. Chase Young had 16.5. Rousseau had 15.5. So I mean.
And then he opted out, and then he came out. So he's actually a very raw prospect in the fact that he doesn't even know he didn't have a lot of setup moves. So he's spent the last 2 years with Von Miller, who's teaching him. And from what Vaughn said, is the guy's even bigger this year than he was last year. His kid just keeps growing.
Right. Yeah, so, dude. I'm telling you,
I'm super excited about him.
He is a player to definitely keep an eye on. And he might be a player that if he continues this trend up, it's going to be getting paid. I'm going to tell you right now, because you know how edge rushers get paid, man. So this guy has a 10+ sack season on his 3rd year. Those numbers are very impressive, going from 4 to 8 to 10+, whatever he gets. Then Brandon Beane's going to have to start thinking about what he wants to do with Rousseau. Because that contract will be coming up before you know it.
That contract will come up about the time that Vaughn's falls off.
Yep. And I think we have money too at that point as well. We'll have that.
As long as we don't keep kicking the can down the road, we will.
Right. That's true too, right. You got a question here for
so let me ask you guys this. Which player has the best chance to develop if you can keep one, Boogie or AJ? I think Boogie, who is worse, has more of a chance to grow. I don't. I think Boogie was at his ceiling when he came into this league. Because you have to remember, Boogie Basham was a 5th-year senior at Pitt. So he was kind of maxed out as it is. I like Boogie. I think he plays hard. I don't know if he fits our defensive scheme. Honestly, I think AJ, every year you've seen AJ grow a little bit. Year one, they asked him, he was a big defensive end and played with power. They asked him to lose a bunch of weight and become a quick twitch guy. He's never played that way. Year 2, he got his body a little bit right. Year 3, he took a step into being a productive rotational D end. I think in year 4, he'll become a little bit better. I think he'll get 6.5 to 8 sacks next year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Then someone will pay him a decent amount of money to go be a rotational D end for them.
Yeah.
You get 6.5, 8 sacks a year, someone's going to pay you. And they're going to give him, $8, $10 million a year. That's going to be more than what we want to pay. But I think AJ is probably the guy who has the ability to take the next step. I don't know what Boogie's role is because they play with him a little bit. They put him on the outside, they put him on the inside. I don't think he has a defined role of what they want him to grow into.
Right. Yeah.
They do. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, done. Rousseau said he's looking to get double digits. Yeah, I think he will. Like I have confidence he will. I mean, if last year's proof of anything is that he took a giant step forward, I don't see why he would take a giant step back or not get any improvement at all from the year into year 3. So Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with him, actually. So
Tommy, let me ask you this. Looking at this list of DNs, how many do we keep, and is there any surprises?
I don't think there's any surprise, man. I think if anyone's gone there, I think it's going to boil down to, in my opinion, Boogie and Shaq, on who gets either cut or traded. And I just think, like, once again, I think Boogie's the one for me that gets shipped out or cut. I can't see him keeping all these dudes, right? But Vaughn for sure, Rousseau for sure, Floyd for sure, AJ. You could possibly maybe be your one that you're saying surprise trade. Maybe if a team's really like Beans, like, damn, they're offering, whatever, like a third or whatever, something crazy he has to do it, then fine. Like, but would that be so crazy? I think we would all be like, okay, you know what I mean? But no, I don't think anything here is going to, be surprising. I think it's going to boil down to Shaq and Boogie, in my opinion. One of those guys are going to be.
I think it's going to be Boogie personally. I think Boogie's because he is only going into year 3, so he has 2 years left on his rookie contract.
Right.
Someone's going to look at him and say, "Okay, he's a former second-round pick. I can get something out of him. He can be a rotational guy, or we have a plan for him, and we're going to do this, like they did with Cody Ford. They got a 5th for Cody.
Exactly. That's how I see Boogie. Yep.
Yeah, and then I can see us putting Vaughn on the pup, and us keeping Rousseau, Floyd, Epinesa, and Lawson, and then having Shane Ray and Kinsley Jonathan on the practice squad.
Shane Ray is interesting too. I know you mentioned him on the.
Yes.
I think he is one of those players that Bills Mafia is going to rally around because he's one of those guys that he has a long way to go to make this roster. But Bills Mafia loves those kind of players, right? Like the underdog story. It's going to be interesting to see what he does in camp and preseason once again, because listen, who knows? I mean, I don't know. Once again, I have no idea what Boogie Basham's done in the offseason. I have no idea what Shane Ray's been doing. These guys could come out and absolutely, wreak havoc, right? And they wind up making the team. So let's see, but I think Shane Ray is an interesting one because he was a
former second-round pick.
And not only that, his second year, right? Sophomore, first round pick. Yep. Yeah. I think he was like high, like 20 or something like that. Yeah. But he was an absolute beast his second year in Denver, and they won a Super Bowl there. And with Vaughn, by the way, he was a good player, but then he had that little weird injury with the wrist, just couldn't get it right. Then mentally, I think it messed him up a little bit. And he's had time to get his things right? Get mentally right.
CFL actually had a really good year at the CFL and worked his way back for a shot at the NFL.
Right. So let's see if this dude could come in and earn a spot. And if he does, man, kudos to him, man, because he is definitely, like I said, man, one of those guys that's going to have to show a lot of work, man, to make this team.
Keep your eyes on Kinsley Jonathan too. The Bills fell in love with him last year.
Yeah, I liked him.
A lot of ceiling, really high ceiling, really low floor. So it'll be interesting to see what he looks like in year 2 as well. So, all right, let's move on over to the defensive tackles. Obviously, it's our newly minted paid man, Ed Oliver, in 2022. I don't know why I still left on 2022.
Couldn't get an update on that Daquan or Tim, huh? How did they get in the old uniforms?
Yeah, I didn't update that. They were already there from last year. I didn't even update the dates. I updated the stats, but not the dates.
I'm just messing with you.
Ed Oliver had 622 snaps. He had 38 tackles, 5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 11 hits, 40 pressures. Not bad. Daquan had 637 snaps. He had 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 23 pressures. He was a fantastic one-tech. Daquan was the guy who did the dirty work. Yeah, Ed Oliver had 0 movement against the Bengals, but our entire defensive line had 0 movement against Bengals. That was just a crap game. Tim Settle only had 200 snaps. He didn't do anything in year 1.
He's been disappointing. He had a disappointing year for a guy that I thought had potential. And I still think he does because I seen it in Washington. You know what I mean? And I heard the rumblings out of Washington, the fans from
They
Seattle.
loved him. They said he saw flashes left and right.
That's what I mean.
He didn't do anything for us.
Nothing. Quiet, man.
Yep.
And he started off with the bang in that press conference. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, damn, okay, this dude's ready. Yeah, like, and he just didn't take that approach on the field.
He didn't take the opportunity.
Right. Yeah. He just didn't. Right, you're right. Opportunity too, because he had him. You are right. Yeah. Yep.
Just didn't quite get it. I'll be interested to see what he does in year 2. Jordan Phillips, Big Daddy Jordan. Love the guy. Super, super productive when he's on the field. Just keep him on the field is the hard part. He had 277 snaps. He had 3 sacks, 3 QB hits, 15 pressures. I mean, you love the guy because he just runs his heart out and he dives for the quarterback and then dislocates his shoulder.
Right.
Or he's running down a pick 6 and gets sniped with his hamstring. You know, love him. But then our new guy, Poona Ford. In 2022, he had 642 snaps. He had 35 tackles, 3 sacks, 7 QB hits, and 22 pressures. But he played out of position.
Correct.
And he played more of a D end than a D tackle. So moving him back to a D tackle, we'll actually see the better Poona Ford. In 2021, he had 802 snaps, 53 tackles, 2 sacks, 6 QB hits, and 33 pressures. So being in this rotation, we're going to have big bodies coming at you. Waves of them now. Knowing that if one of these guys gets hurt, having Poona is like getting Floyd on the D end. Having Poona step into this defensive tackle room is just like that. It's just a third body. I think it goes Ed, Daquan, Poona in that order as your D tackles. Then we have Eli Anku, who had 43 tackles, 2.5 sacks in his career. DJ Dale. DJ Dale is someone who I'm very interested in seeing how he plays. My University of Alabama defensive tackle. He's more of a one tech, so super interesting, big body, great against the run. Kendall Vickers, he had 20 tackles, 3 QB hits, 2 sacks in his career. Hasn't had much playing time. And then Cortez Broughton, in his career, he's had 9 tackles.
Okay.
So it's our big 5. Eli Anku, who's been around for a while, knows our defense, is a great practice squad guy. And then DJ Dale, who's our rookie UDFA, who I am super excited about. He's really big, but he's short. He's short and stout. And packs a punch.
He's 6 foot, 310 pounds.
And moves quick, man. The dude is a beast. Poona Ford was actually supposed to get paid more. He actually got bigger offers elsewhere, and he chose to take less to come to us. Is DJ Dale's kind of built the same way Poona Ford's built, short and stout.
Right.
It's one of the reasons why he went undrafted. But so did Poona Ford out of the University of Texas. Right. You know, he went super late because he's short and stout. Just because you're short doesn't mean you can't play the ball.
Yeah, it means nothing. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, man. Listen, man. Finally, Brandon Beane really addressed the line. Got some really quality depth players. Got a lot of young talent here too. I'll be honest with you. Not a lot of these guys are aging old. I mean, I guess Jordan Phillips would be maybe Daquan Jones. Yeah, Daquan and Jordan are probably the vets. They're not like super old or anything. Daquan's been relatively healthy. Jordan Phillips is the one that's starting to get the injury bug late in his career, starting to break down a little bit. But I love the guy, just like Mikey said. He's like my man crush last year. Like, I just love that dude. Because he brings it, man. He has that, like, even when we got him initially from Miami years ago, the very first game, he was just like electric, man. And I love that, man, on defense, man. And but I think Poona Ford is like a younger Phillips. Like, he also has that energy, and I love that too. So you're going to see that from him. And I can't wait to see what Poona Ford does, man, because, like, once again, out of position last year for Seattle. They admitted that as well. But, man, this dude, he's an electric player too. But Ed Oliver, I think, he got paid. I think this is I think he needs to do a bigger step this year. I think he needs to prove his worth, in my opinion. I like the guy a lot. I think the guy has potential. I still think he's learning kind of too. He's not quite all there, but he has to show that the contract is worth it, right? And I think this year he needs to, whatever he needs to do in this training camp, he needs to grind a little bit more than he has probably been. Daquan Jones played excellent last year for us, honestly. And Tim Settle needs to, another player that needs to really get his act together. And that's it, man. All the other guys on the bench.
I don't think so, Andrew. Andrew comes in and asks, is Settle really going to get more reps than Puna? I don't believe so.
No.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised to see DJ Dale take Settle's job.
Yeah, if Settle don't step
DJ
up,
Dale
I agree.
6'1", 307 is what he checked in at. He has a pass rush grade in 2022 of 79 and a run grade of 76. The dude's just a solid defensive tackle. He's not a superstar, but he's that rotational defensive tackle that you want. That's gonna be something. I truly think it's gonna go Oliver, Daquan, Puna as the three mains.
Yep.
And then they're gonna sprinkle in Jordan Phillips, and then Tim Settle is probably gonna be the odd guy out most of the time. He might be a scratch, and then if someone gets hurt, that's when he comes in.
I agree. I'm with that too.
That's what I'm predicting. I wouldn't be surprised to see DJ Dale, take a job from somebody. DJ Dale, solid football player, man.
No, he was good. Listen, Alabama, he was good, man. He was a good player. I'm surprised that he went undrafted. I thought he would go at least, 6th round.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And no, nobody picked him up. So that was a smart pickup by Buffalo by Brandon Bean. Another guy played in the SEC. You're going against top talent. SEC is like all NFL players pretty much, right? Yeah. These guys are ready, right? Like this isn't like, shitty division.
It's the minor league. It's the NFL's minor league.
Right.
That's
so he's going against the best, right? So, and I thought he performed well in Alabama. So it's going to be interesting. Once again, another player that's going to have to prove his worth in camp. Yeah, earn it. Yep.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. All right. So I do think we keep all five defensive tackles. I do think we keep 5. I think we're going to keep 10 total. I think we're going to keep 5 with really we're going to have 4 active and then Vaughn on the pup to start. So we're going to have 9 active defensive linemen, 10 total defensive linemen.
Yeah.
All right. Linebackers. Good. Our boy.
Right. Let's get to it.
Matt Milano. All-Pro Matt Milano.
Yep.
In 2022, he had 947 snaps. He had 99 tackles. He missed 13 tackles, though. I wish that number would come down. Seems to be going up, though, with this guy.
Right.
He had 3 picks, 1.5 sacks, and he had a 62.6 pass rating against.
Mm-hmm.
He's first-team All-Pro for a reason. The dude's a stud. Who do you think will be our starting middle linebacker? It's one of the next 2 guys that I'm going to talk about. To be perfectly honest with you, one of the next 2.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, hold on.
Well, technical difficulties on Mikey's end. Don't worry.
My computer just froze for a second.
Oh, there we go. We're back.
Okay, I'm back. So Dorian Williams in 2022, so his last college year, he had 684 snaps, 78 tackles. He did miss 10 tackles. He had 2 picks, 4 sacks, and a 66.3 passer rating against. The dude is a pass coverage linebacker.
Yeah.
It's why I thought they drafted him to back up Matt Milano.
Mm-hmm.
But then you hear his size and his wingspan. I can understand why they're trying to try him at middle linebacker.
Right.
Terrell Bernard, last year's 3rd round pick, had 111 snaps. He had 22 tackles. And he had an 88.9% pass rate against. I'll be interested to see what he looks like in year 2. He was lost in year 1.
Yeah.
Like he started against the Jets and they picked on him.
Right. Yep.
I'm glad I missed that game, but I went back and watched a little bit of it, and they picked on him. I was on a plane for that game. Thank God.
Yes, you were. I remember.
So I think he probably has the chance to start. It's going to be how much can Dorian pick up and how fast can he pick it up? Because he's going to be, if he's in middle battle linebacker, he's going to have to call the plays.
Right.
Then we have Tyler Matakevich, who's basically a special teamer.
Yep, always been.
Tyrell Dotson, who does have the most experience in middle Mike linebacker in the room. He had 220 snaps last year. He had 32 tackles, 3 missed, 1 sack, but he had 103.7 pass rating against. He's not a coverage linebacker. He's more of a balanced linebacker. He's probably gonna be better. He's a little bit bigger, so he has more of the thump for the run game. So it'll be interesting to see which of those 3 may make the cut to start. And then our 3 other linebackers are AJ Klein, Balin Spector, and Tavian Howard. Spector's interesting. I think Spector has a outside shot at winning that middle linebacker job.
I mean, he
was a Mike at Clemson.
No, I get it, and I like what I saw in preseason. I did. I thought he was very impressive in preseason last season, but I don't think Klein's gonna. At first, I thought, oh, maybe Klein. No, God, no, I hope not. And I don't hate Klein. It's just he's limited. He's also getting older up there, but
I don't think he's in the running for it. I think he's just the vet.
No, but he's a Sean McDermott kind of guy too, though. Yep. So he might make the team just because of that. But I like Dorian Williams. Bernard, I still don't think I think it's going to come down to. God, I hate this. It's going to come down to Klein and Williams. Maybe, like you said, Spector could creep up in camp in preseason and actually pass up Klein. It could come down to Dorian Williams and Spector. But I'm also thinking it could be like a rotation of middle linebackers. I don't know if one's going to have a true.
The problem with that is if they're going to be the play caller, only one.
I know. I don't think they will be. I don't think. I have a feeling they're going to that none of these middle linebackers are going to be the play caller. I think they're going to switch that off to somebody else, in my opinion.
Ooh,
I could be wrong. Okay. But I can't listen.
McDermott's never done that.
I know he hasn't. Yeah, and maybe he won't. Maybe this time he changed his mind, but I just don't think so. Now, especially if they're doing a rotating thing, and that's what you're saying. They're saying, hey, if that happens, there's no way you can have all guys playing, calling the plays. But I don't know if any of these guys right now, and that's scary to say, like, yes, he's our middle linebacker. You know what I mean? Like,
we don't have that on our roster right now.
Right?
Say, yeah, he's the Mike. We don't have. We have 3 guys battling for it. And what made me think Spector has a chance is he also had an 88.3 pass rating against, but he's a better run defender than either one of those other 2 guys.
No, listen, and he gets to the quarterback too sometimes.
Yeah,
he. I don't hate his game. I just feel also he's a little limited. Pass coverage, he's not good at all. He's not a good pass coverage, bro. Run blocking, run tackling, I mean, pretty good run tackler. Klein's not bad at run tackling.
Oh, no, yeah. I didn't know what you were talking about. I missed.
Okay.
Klein,
yeah.
Don't.
But he's bad. He's bad against pass coverage. He's terrible.
You bring him forward. Don't make him go back.
Exactly. 100%.
Play him downhill. Right. You're
bring him in a blitz. Get him on a blitz, like a blitz pack, whatever. But you don't like whenever we used him when Tremaine went down last year. I think he was terrible against the pass coverage. Awful. He got lost a few times too. Like you could see him getting a little bit lost out there. But hey, man, listen, these young guys have a lot to prove, man. Dorian Williams, Terrell Bernard, Spector. Let's see, man. Like I said, man, training camp's going to be really, really interesting in preseason. I'm excited once again to see preseason these guys try to win jobs. And some young talent, man. I've seen if they could take a step forward.
I think McDermott wants Dorian to win it. I think he's hoping Williams comes in and takes it.
Is there any veteran linebackers out there still left? Somebody was saying something about waiver wire Matt Chatter. Is there anyone that's still out there that you would like?
Surprised that's an issue. Finding middle linebackers isn't that hard. It is when you don't have money to pay them. All of the good middle linebackers went and got paid somewhere else. We didn't have money. That was the problem.
Right. Well, we got what we
I'll
got.
be interested to see if any of them get cut because there's a lot of like the Chiefs have like 6 linebackers that could play on that could probably start in the middle.
And that is also another thing to keep an eye on. That's a great point, Mikey. When waivers start to hit, when teams start to dwindle down, there's going to be guys. There's surprise cuts. There's every year, right? And very possible that Bean goes out and picks some of these players up.
Martin, our punter last year, was a waiver wire guy.
That's right. It worked out to wind up being a very good punter. Punter we wound up extending. So
our first punter that we extended in the Bean era.
Right. So yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out in training camp. Albeit, we got a lot of young guys are going to be out there running around, so it'll be fun. So that kind of comes to our conclusion. I don't think we keep extra linebackers this year like we have in the last few years. I think Matakevich will make it. I'm guessing we're going to keep 5 linebackers. We're not going to keep 6.
Yeah, it sounds about right. But once again, man, the waiver wire will be interesting because some of these players that maybe make the team may wind up getting cut. If there's a certain linebacker that's free, winds up getting cut. That's better. That Bean and McDermott that's willing to come here on a decent deal. You could also see in that. So, you never know. By the way, real quick, Justin Shorter, my God, that dude is ripped, dude. That dude looks ready. Holy crap.
This year is Jordan Phillips. Is he your man crush this year?
Holy crap, dude. That dude looks like he is ready to go to battle in the UFC, bro. I'm like, yo.
He's the DK Metcalf, AJ Brown type of body when they came out. Remember, they were both shredded like that.
Yeah, and bro, he's tall, 6'4". Like, if this guy can, once again, though, I don't know, it's his injury history, but if he could show what he did in high school and then his improvement in Florida, Brandon Bean might have had a good steal there in the draft. Like I said, man, I don't think it's going to be year 1, maybe not even be year 2, but it's a guy I think everybody needs to keep an eye on, especially if the Bills keep him on the 53, because there's a reason for that. And it's not just special teams. Like, it may be special teams the first year, but I have a feeling this dude, if he can stay healthy, work on his craft, especially in the offseason, get with, like for instance, Shakir got with Eric Moulds this offseason, right? Didn't have to, but he did because he's learning from one of the best to do it. So why not improve your craft? Learn from somebody that did it very well. And I think that's something Shorter will learn as he stays in the NFL, that you have to do this offseason stuff on the side to improve your game, because you're not going to always get it in training camp. Like, you know what I mean? You just won't always get that extra one-on-one work is what I'm trying to say. So.
Yeah. No,
he's fast.
Actually fast. He runs a 4.4. I want to hit on something that Matt Chatter said. He said Tremaine was not worth that money. He wasn't worth that money in Buffalo. The way we used him, he wasn't worth it. I have a feeling he's going to go to Chicago, and they're going to unleash him as a weapon on defense.
Oh, dude!
I don't think you're going to see him dropping back in the middle of the field. I have a feeling I think that that head coach who has a defensive background is going to use that guy, because they signed another middle linebacker too. Yeah. So I have a feeling you're going to see Tremaine used as a weapon. You're going to see him blitzing more. You're going to see him doing all kinds of weird stuff.
I think he's going to be like the guy in Dallas, man.
Parsons.
Huh?
Like Micah Parsons?
Yeah. I see him like a Parsons, man. I do. He's, bro, I don't think you guys realize how athletic and how athletic he is, 2, his age, and 3, how smart he is, dude. That dude knows football. That dude is fast. That dude hits. That dude is powerful. We just did not use him to his full capability. We used only one part of his capability, and I felt like it was just like we had him handcuffed, and we were like, "Hey, this is what we want you to do, and that's it. You can only go so far, right? You only can do so much here." And I think, like Mikey said, Chicago is going to probably show you all his whole full arsenal on display, and it is what it is, man. We just couldn't afford him, but yeah.
Look at Shaq Leonard, for the Colts. like what he was able to do. He played middle sometimes, he played edge sometimes. They used him all over the field. The same defensive coordinator that made him a star now has Tremaine Edmonds. They're going to use him a little bit of everywhere. They're going to unleash his skill set.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
He did. We found a role for him, and he fit that role of what Buffalo played. We played, coverage. His size closed the middle of the field just because of how big he was. They
right.
throw in the middle of the field, but it was a very zone heavy defense.
Exactly.
It was an attacking defense. So
exactly. All right, Mikey, anything else for tonight?
No, I think we're good. Our next show we'll finish up with the secondary and the specialists. And camp will already be kicked off, so we'll have our first reports because we'll already have our first.
We'll have some updates. Yep, and that'll be interesting. So Friday, guys, Friday Night Lights at 8:30, and then tomorrow. By the way, at 8:30, wrestling, Nuclear Heatwave Wrestling Podcast. If you're anyone that likes wrestling, that's on tomorrow at 8:30. And then obviously, like I just said, Friday at 8:30 for me and Mikey. And then that's it. And then we'll be back again Monday, and we're doing this thing, man. So we're getting ready.
Football is back, baby.
Yeah. By the way, too, Banged Up Bills. Not Banged Up Bills. Why I say Banged Up Bills? Good show, but good guy, by the way. But no, Mafia Means Family podcast returns August 31st, which is on a Thursday, and that's Mafia Mom and Mini Mafia. So they're coming every Thursday night. I believe at 8. I'll let you know the time once I get it set in stone. But they will be back to shortly, and then also AFC East Shakedown. By the way, I have a full everybody now. I got a Jets guy, right? I got a Dolphins guy in Curtis, and Captain D said he'll pop on here and there. And then, of course, I got Trevor and Juan from Sports Dynasty and myself. And Mikey might join us sometime here and there as well on that. So that's coming up September, I think, 2nd or something like that. So look for that this season. So we got a full slate. And I don't know yet, but I may, if Mikey can, so I understand, I may do some preseason postgame. Just to hop on here and talk real quick for you guys, if you guys are interested in that, because it's a Saturday. I don't care. So I may do that this season, just to talk to see what players we liked, because that might be interesting, especially with these guys trying to make the team. So look for that. Very
interesting conversation when you're talking about, because a lot of the backups,
exactly.
We'll talk about position battles, some of the young guys that we're not going to see in the regular season. So it would be a good conversation. If I can make those, I'll make them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there won't be long. It won't be a long video. But anyways, I'm thinking about it, guys. So anyways, guys, real quick too, Mafia Sports Report hit 3,000 subscribers.
Thank you.
So thank you, everyone who's shown love for this channel, love and support. Mikey, of course, thank you again for everything you do. And Bills Mafia, we love you. And as always, go Bills. And I will play the outro, and we are out of here.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Peace.
And look at him go. He could go all the way. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. The Bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now. The Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on.